Greetings, Kenya. This is Nyendusi Nyechai, also known as Deuce, here at my home office in Buffalo, New York, United States of America. Just moving on the spirit of inspiring hope for Kenya. You know what? You and I together, we make one, and one equals one nation, one tribe, and it's called Kenya. And I'm just extremely grateful and privileged to be a Kenyan. And today I wanted to talk to you about the topic of poverty, the issue of poverty. And by the way, I'm just drinking my tea right here. It's cold here in Buffalo, New York. You're probably enjoying the beautiful weather, and right now you're probably asleep while I'm here in this afternoon. But poverty, it's such a major issue actually in Africa as a whole. Isn't that extremely sad? Poverty is something that Kenyans can relate to. Actually, just under a half of the population of Kenya are living in poverty. There's such a gap between the rich and the poor. It's pretty big. But we have to start looking at addressing the issue of poverty. Nelson Mandela said that poverty is one of those things that can be eradicated. It's not like a disease that, let's say you have a disease and, you may or may not get rid of it, but poverty, you can get rid of it. And there are ways to dealing with poverty. We have over 40 million Kenyans now, and a majority of Kenyans are youth. And so we are moving my generation and below is covering the whole of Kenya, and we're moving into a new generational gap. And so my question is, how is my generation and the generations to come, my brother and sister's generation, my future children's generation, my future grandchildren's generation, how are they going to be able to live in a country, in a nation that will not be having the same issues that we're having right now of poverty? It's sad that a lot of people come all the way from the United States and other Western countries to just be able to challenge the issue of poverty. That's sad because Kenyans themselves aren't able to deal with that issue. We borrow so much money, and the goal is to get out of debt. The goal is to deal with the issues of poverty, to provide jobs. But why is it every year, day in, day out? Right now, we just concluded the first general election after we received a new constitution in 2010, and it was chosen by the people, for the people. But why is it every year there's still an issue of poverty? You see, this boggles my mind. This bothers me. We have so much focus on who should be the next president, who should be the next county representative, whether it's a member of parliament, whether it's at senator level, whether it's as a governor, whether it's as a women representative. But are we also using those positions as guidelines to be able to deal with these issues that are critical to the future and the present state of Kenya, namely poverty? When I was a young kid, I don't know how it is right now, but I remember that we would be in the car and we would drive in Nairobi, and we would go through different parts like Westlands and going into city center, and you'd see young children, the age of 2 to 17, who are out on the streets every day begging. And sometimes the middle class looks down on them, but the reality is that some of them don't have a choice but to go out in the streets. And it saddens me because these children are innocent individuals. They have done nothing wrong. And the leadership of our country, the leadership, the top leadership from the executive down, they have a responsibility. We vote them in, and I think that we sometimes don't have an effective criterion on how we select our leaders. But we vote them in, and what do? Absolutely nothing. Well, I don't want to say nothing because our country has moved forward. But they don't address a lot of the critical issues. All the time on media, all we see is so-and-so is against so-and-so. But what happens to the young child who's struggling, my friend? The young child who is looking for hope and feels hopeless and feels like they don't have a voice. See, it's our time to reflect and ask that question. I love my country. I love the fact that I'm Kenyan. In fact, I'm not going to ever renounce my citizenship as a Kenyan. And God willing, one day I'll come back and serve my country in whatever capacity, because being a servant means you're willing to do whatever you've been called to do. Whether it's wash people's feet, wash people's houses, to the point of being a top leader, a president. But the reality is, how can we deal with the issue of poverty so that we don't have to have people from other parts of the world having to deal with our own issues for us? Kenya, I believe that we can do it. I believe that we are the generation. If we stand up, if we say not on our watch, if we stand to the reality, if we take accountability, if we vote with wisdom, if we start holding our leaders accountable, if we start getting together, we forget about the issues that divide us and focus on the issues that bring us together and realize that we have what it takes, I'm telling you, we will make a difference. I believe that we are the next generation that will move Kenya towards a developed country. Yes, developed country. Why not? You see countries like Japan, which was once poor, now is one of the wealthiest countries in the world. We can do it. Let's do it. Let's do it not just for ourselves. Let's do it for the little kid on the streets in Westlands, in Kabete, in City Center, in Kisumu, in Kisii, in Nyeri, in Ukambani, Machakos, in Mombasa, in Samburu. Let's do it. We could do it. Now I hope this doesn't just sound like an ideal, but it will become a reality. Let me hear your thoughts. How can we deal with the issue of poverty? God bless you, my friend. I appreciate you. I love you. And God bless Kenya.